Hey, Moby, I think I see aliens. Oh, never mind. I think they left. Dear Tim and Moby, can you tell me all about the solar system? From Sam. Well, the solar system is our home in the galaxy. It started out around 4.5 billion years ago. Back then, our solar system was just a cloud of gas and dust, probably left over from the explosion of a star. Over millions of years, gravity drew a lot of this stuff together into clumps. The biggest was in the center, and everything else began to spin around it. Immense gravitational pressure built up at the core of this gigantic clump. Atoms began fusing together in a nuclear reaction that continues to this day. It became the sun, and its energy pushed away any nearby gas. That's why the inner planets formed mostly out of rocky material. Earth is one of these terrestrial planets. The outer planets were once rocky too, but their gravity captured the gas pushed away by the sun. They formed the gas giants, like Jupiter. The sun's not all that big compared to other stars, but for us, it's the most important one around. The 8 planets in our solar system are satellites of the sun. That means they travel around it in an orbit. The 4 inner planets are much smaller than the 4 outer ones. Mercury is closest to the sun, and it kind of looks like our moon. It spins really slowly, just 1.5 times for every trip around the sun. That's why one side gets so hot and the other gets so cold. No, you couldn't go there. You'd probably melt or freeze. Venus is sometimes called Earth's sister planet because of the similar size. Its atmosphere is filled with carbon dioxide, a greenhouse gas. That means it traps the sun's heat. The surface of Venus can get close to 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah, you'd definitely melt on Venus. The third from the sun is Earth, where we live. It's got perfect conditions for plants and animals, not too hot, not too cold. That means lots of liquid water, which all life depends on. Mars is called the red planet because of its reddish surface. That's caused by the high iron content in Martian rocks. Mars has 2 moons, Phobos and Deimos. It also has the tallest mountain in the solar system, Olympus Mons. It's nearly 3 times the height of Mount Everest. Although it's cold and dry now, scientists think Mars was once much more like Earth. It likely had oceans and rivers, and its atmosphere contained more heat-trapping gases. The 4 outer planets are really far from the sun, so they're much colder. Jupiter is the largest of these gas giants. Its rocky core alone is at least 10 times bigger than Earth. On its surface, there's a permanent storm called the Great Red Spot. It's way bigger than our entire planet, and it's been raging for centuries. Around Jupiter, there are almost 70 moons. The first were discovered hundreds of years ago by Galileo Galilei. They're called the Galilean moons, and they're almost like little planets. Saturn is another gas giant, about 100 times more massive than Earth. You probably know Saturn by its amazing set of rings. They look smooth from a distance, but up close you can see they're made of chunks of ice and rock. Saturn has more than 50 moons orbiting it. The biggest, Titan, is one of the only moons with a thick atmosphere. Uranus is a gassy planet with small gray rings and more than 25 moons. It's so tilted that it looks like it's lying on its side. Some astronomers think a huge collision in its early days might have done that. Neptune is the farthest planet in the solar system. Like Uranus, it's sometimes called an ice giant because it's so cold. It was named after the Roman god of the sea, probably because it's so blue. There's a stormy great dark spot on Neptune that's kind of like the great red spot on Jupiter. Right, the solar system isn't just planets and the sun. There are lots of smaller bodies floating out there too. Asteroids are pieces of rock, centimeters to hundreds of kilometers wide. Most of them are concentrated in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. Then there's poor old Pluto, a cold, rocky body even smaller than our own moon. It was considered a main planet until 2006, when it got demoted to a dwarf planet. Pluto has an odd orbit that sometimes brings it closer to the sun than Neptune. It also has at least 5 moons. By the way, Pluto isn't the only dwarf planet. Others include the asteroid Ceres and an object named Eris, which is almost as large as Pluto. Comets are totally different than asteroids. They're clumps of ice and dust that each have a unique orbit around the sun. When it gets close to the sun, the dust and ice form long, wispy tails that you can sometimes see from Earth. Scientists think that comets come from far regions of the solar system called the Kuiper Belt and Oort cloud. I know, it's quite a variety of stuff in the solar system, right? What's your favorite thing out there? Yeah, I guess Earth's my favorite too.